I have to give a shout out to two people. One, I have to give a shout out to my Sasser because she sent me this video. It was about 30 something minutes long, where it was a press conference talking about a crime that these three were involved in. And I also have to give a shout out to Professor Black Truth because he posted up the article on his Twitter page, in which I'm about to read from, involving these three right here. These three right here were arrested in the massacre of three people who were just going fishing. But if you notice, the picture of the one on the left has the more bigger picture because they want you to make sure you focus and hone in on him for a reason. Because when I was listening to the press conference, it's just that I was kind of blown away. I wasn't shocked, but still at the same time blown away at the amount of felony charges that this one guy in this picture had. Now, the other two, the woman, they said up until recently she didn't have a criminal history. The other guy, he only had one misdemeanor. So right now, this is the only big crime that's on their record. But this guy on the left, whose name is Tony TJ Wiggins, that man has a rap sheet that literally could probably fill up a crate. It's that long. And I'm going to read to you right now this article. It says 2 brothers and a woman have been arrested in connection with the massacre of 3 best friends who set out on a fishing trip at a Central Florida lake last week, Polk County Sheriff Grady Judd said Wednesday. One of the suspects, Tony TJ Wiggins, age 26, hold on to your seats for this one because this is where I'm about to drop the bomb about this guy, had previously been charged with 230 felonies. Let me say that again. He was in the past formally charged with 230 felonies. How in the world is someone like himself still even allowed to even walk amongst society is beyond me. And had been consistently arrested since he was 12. He literally has been a rebel for more than half his life. Now, his record as a criminal began before he was 13. Judd said during a news conference to announce the arrest, his brother William Robert Higgins, age 21, and girlfriend Mae Whitmore, age 27, were also arrested. The suspects are accused in the shooting and beating deaths of Damian Tillman, age 23, Kevin Springfield, age 30, and Brandon Rollins, age 27, on Friday night as they gathered at a remote boat ramp at Lake Streety near Frostproof. Now, I believe that all 3 of the people that they did kill were palm colored. I believe they were all Caucasian. I would like to know from all of the advocates for black on black crime, you know, the ones who want to put it out there like they give a damn, but they really don't. I would like to know your take about this, but then again, I don't want to hear it because then you're going to try to deflect. Judd, who has worked at the agency since 1972, called the crime scene horrific, describing the deaths as a massacre. He said the men were beaten and shot up. I've been to a lot of murder scenes in my life, and this ranks amongst the worst. According to the sheriff, Tillman was at a Dollar General store in the area and mentioned he was meeting his friends to go fishing at the lake. The store clerk later told investigators the suspects were in the store and overheard Tillman saying he was meeting up with friends. Judd said Tony Wiggins told his brother to drive to the lake. Once there, Tony Wiggins confronted Springfield, accusing him of stealing his truck and selling the engine. Judd said investigators have not yet determined whether that allegation is true. I highly doubt it. I mean, are you really going to take the words of someone who has 230 felonies to their name since the age of 12? The sheriff said the trio then went to a McDonald's and ordered 10 double cheeseburgers and 2 chicken sandwiches. Rollins was still alive when the attackers left, Judd said. He called his father for help. The father arrived about 10 minutes later but forgot his cell phone in a rush to help his son, so he went to a convenience store to get help. By the time help arrived, his son had died. Detectives received tips about the case and obtained video from the store. During a search warrant at the suspects' homes, investigators found a gun that killed the victims. Tony Wiggins is charged with first-degree murder, tampering with evidence, and possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. His brother and girlfriend are each charged with an accessory after the fact. All three were expected to appear before a judge Thursday afternoon. Attorneys for them were not listed on court records. Earlier, Judd had announced a reward of $30,000 leading to the arrest of each in the particular case. Of course, it's been updated because they have now been arrested. Now, when I was listening to the video that my Sasser sent me, the Judd character, the one who was holding the conference, he was literally starting to, read down a lot of the felonies that this guy, well, not all of them because it's too many, but this guy literally, they say he was just born to be a monster. Like, that's just who he is. He's almost like he's the embodiment of a little Michael Myers. Maybe not to the extent of a Michael Myers, but the similarities are there because he started young. You get what I mean. But they said this guy just had a knack for even just hitting people who was in close proximity with him if he just felt like it. Like, this guy literally constantly did whatever he wanted to do. 230 felonies since the age of 12. See, but they don't want to talk about that. They don't want to talk. Listen, after this, just lock his ass up for the rest of his life and see how tough he is behind those bars. Put him in Gen Pop with the blackest population that you can find in there. Because the way they like to lock black men up around this establishment, that shouldn't be hard to do. Now, speaking of, this man had 230 felonies to his name, and most likely will have more after this. But a black man can go to jail for a misdemeanor. But this guy got felonies and spent very little to no time in jail. But they want us to actually believe that black men deserve to go to jail just because. But this guy right here can walk around free. If they had tackled him the way that they should have, tackled the problem the way they should have, prior to this, those three people that were murdered would still most likely be alive today. See, something just triggered him to go and kill those three people. All he heard was the guy telling the clerk that he was going fishing with some friends. He overheard it, and then he made up in his mind, hey, let's go and kill these three right here and make up a story that they try to steal my truck and sell the engine. The fact that they even want to investigate to see if the allegation is true is absurd because, like I said, the guy has 230 felonies. Do you really take his word for anything? I most definitely would not. I swear, if there was I don't know if there's a death penalty in Florida or not, but if there was, he would definitely qualify for it. Now, like I said, felony charges is far from a misdemeanor, so that means that this guy has had a life of heavy crime since he was a preteen. And apparently to me, he's had a lust for it as well. I know I feel like I'm focusing more on him and not so much on the other two, and that's because he's the ringleader, and you don't just frown at 230 felonies. As far as they're concerned, they said they were just accessories, so yeah, they will do jail time, not nearly as much as he's going to do. Because he came in up and orchestrated the entire plan. But they should have been locked the cell door on this guy before he had a chance to terrorize anybody else. This guy's basic with 230 felonies. He's basically, in my eyes, a domestic terrorist. But look at his complexion. He has protection. Only someone like that could get away with so many crimes, and not only get away with it, but have it be very underreported. Had it been a black guy that did what he did, they would have blasted his stuff all over the news. I had to find out about this on the internet. And I bet you my subscribers who live in Florida or live somewhere near there or, in proximity, they probably didn't hear about this either. Or if they did, they didn't talk about it much. Or if at all. But like I said, if he looked like myself, they would have made sure to put that on blast. For sure. And it's crazy because when I was looking at the tweet that Professor Black True posted up, he was basically talking about his white on white crime series that he used to have. I wish he would bring that back because that was actually what attracted me to his channel more so than anything. This would definitely qualify for it.